Hello, I'm Tom Rothman of 20th Century Fox. Welcome to Fox Legacy. We're glad to have you with us tonight.
Watch it!
To have a hit movie, you need to make a great movie. That's axiomatic. It's also, however, not enough. Quality of execution is a prerequisite to success, but not a definition of it. Because if a great movie falls in the forest and no one is there to see it, it ain't a hit. Thus comes to the modern movie business a terrible concept called marketability. A studio, which is in the business of making profits on its films so that it can continue to make more films, needs a film to be both playable, meaning good, and marketable, meaning sellable to a commercial audience big enough to get back the cost of the film and hopefully, if I'd like to keep my job for a little while, a little bit more. Over 20 years of trying to sort through what makes some films sellable and some not, I've come to believe that having one of three things is usually necessary. First, a true movie star. Forrest Gump or Erin Brockovich may, for example, seem like deeply obscure titles, but stand in a movie ticket line one night and watch the ticket buyers ask for the Tom Hanks movie or the Julia Roberts movie, and you'll understand star power. Second, there's what we at Fox have come to call pre-awareness. Audiences knew the X-Men comic books, or the Devil Wears Prada novel, for example, and they didn't need movie stars per se to register their interest. But to me, it's the third category that's both the most fun and the hardest to find. Big ideas. This very sign was behind my desk for many years, until I got kind of embarrassed by it, because I figured by then I shouldn't need to be reminded every day. So, in truth, I just moved it to my bathroom where I get my best ideas anyway. But big movies come from big ideas. And if you have a big enough, cool enough idea, you can make that film without established superstars as long as you make it well enough. Speed is the archetypal big idea film, made with then fresh young talent, executed to perfection, and deserving of its now iconic stature.
You have a hair trigger aimed at your head, what do? What do you do?
A crazy bad guy extorting a good guy cop. Seen it. A bomb in an elevator, in a bus, a subway. Seen it, seen it, seen it. But a bomb that will go off if the bus slows down below 50 miles an hour? Bingo, big idea. Then, put the bus in the traffic capital of the world, put a woman passenger in the driver's seat and a handsome, naturally young cop next to her, and make a relentless, non-stop, after all, to stop is to die, action ride with a little splash of sexual tension, and you have the superior execution of a big idea, which in Hollywood you spell H-I-T. Or, as Fox's ad slogan for the film went,
Speed. Get ready for rush hour.
Executing the idea behind Speed, however, was not easy. It took a terrific writer, a man named Graham Yost, working with one of Hollywood's smartest producers, Mark Gordon, to come up with the idea and develop the script to where it was believable and had emotional relatability, which is actually the hardest thing to come by in an action picture, not the action itself. Then, Gordon convinced Peter Chernin, then chairman of Fox, to take a chance on a first-time director, the former cinematographer Jan de Bont. This chance doubled down by casting an unknown Sandy Bullock and Keanu Reeves, who at that point in his career was not yet established as an action leading man, paid off with a film that felt real in its every aspect.
But Santa's been shot, we gotta get him
Slow
off!
down and this bus will explode!
You believed that the folks on that bus were there, and that, but for the grace of God, you could be there too. This verisimilitude was aided greatly by de Bont's and Gordon's insistence and, to its credit, the studio's agreement to film the vast majority of the driving with real practical stunts, not models as it was customary then or CGI effects as would be done in most cases now. Instead, the filmmakers worked out how to do it for real. And the movie works because it feels real. One of the most impressive practical stunts of the film is the big bus jump scene.
Everybody hold on!
No one had ever tried to jump a bus the height and distance required for the scene. In fact, the stunt wasn't even in the original script, but de Bont was inspired when he saw a huge gap in the 105 freeway in LA, which was still under construction. As a matter of fact, I think it's still under construction because I get stuck in traffic there all the time. Anyway, a special bus was constructed, one that was super light and could travel at 70 miles an hour. On the first take, the stunt driver missed the ramp and had to go back around, but on the second take, it was perfect. So, pop quiz, hotshot. You're on a bus full of passengers with a bomb set to explode if the needle goes below 50 miles an hour. What would you do? What would you do? Watch and see. So, how do you know what's a big idea and what isn't? Well, I liken it to what Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart is said to have said when giving the definition of pornography. He said he knew it when he saw it. Well, I like to think that we're pretty good around here at knowing a good idea from a bad idea when we see it. But we're not perfect. Speed 2, anyone? Now, right here, I have to speak up in defense of Speed 2, which is a much maligned film. Like some other films that get a reputation worse than they deserve, and some night here I'll tell you the story of being at the very first research screening for a movie called Ishtar. Speed 2 is actually a really fun film. Okay, not Gone with the Wind maybe, but it's not bad. But it does serve, in perfect contrast to Speed, to illustrate my point from the opening about the importance of the idea itself. You see, as any of the rocket scientists among you can tell, the idea behind Speed is speed. But Speed 2 took place on a boat, a very big boat. It will be a long time in my professional life before I forget the sinking feeling, and believe me, the pun is intended, in the pit of my stomach that I felt the first afternoon I went downstairs to the Z screening room in the basement of Fox to watch the first day's dailies on Speed 2. The first shots from that movie were of the boat moving along. And the very first word that came into my mind was slow. The movie's called Speed 2, but the boat is slow. Can it go any faster? I asked the production people sitting next to me. It's going very, very fast for a boat, was the answer. So, remember, make sure the idea is good, because if it's not, then it's after that, Mrs. Lincoln. How did you enjoy the play?
This is much better.
When Speed 2 turns up here on Legacy, I'll be back to stick up for it, as we love all our children. But until that happy day, I'm Tom Rothman for the Fox Movie Channel. Good night.